Hi. Okay, so I'm back with my review for Monogamy. This is a 6 episode series by Craig Ross Jr. I found out about it through Facebook. I saw a trailer and I hunted it down. I was able to find it on Amazon Prime. They take you to another website where you have to do a 7-day trial, but I was able to get it and I watched it, all 6 episodes. But I'm just going to talk about episode 1. Now, this series follows 4 couples who are participating in an experiment. It seems like the experiment was marketed specifically to each couple. When we first start off, they're already past everything and they're getting ready to make what they call the decision. But it takes you 10 weeks back, and 10 weeks ago you get to look in every couple's life and see how it was and what state their marriage was in. I do apologize about the paper, y'all. I did take notes because it was a lot of information to process. There were 4 couples. Couple 1 was Caroline and Sawyer. They were from Miami, Florida. They've been married 3 years. Then you had couple 2, which was Maggie and Carson. They were from Houston, Texas. They had been married 11 years. Then you had couple 3, which was Connor and DeAndrea. I hope I'm saying that right. They had been married 1 year, and they were from Boston, Mass. And then you had couple 4, which is Dallas and Sincere. They were married 7 years in Washington, D.C. Now, I do have all of the characters' names so you can know who I'm talking about. Carson is played by Wesley Jonathan. Maggie is played by Jill Marie Jones. You may know her from Girlfriends. Wesley Jonathan has been in other movies too. Sawyer is played by Blue Kimball. Caroline is played by Vanessa Simmons, so you can imagine why I cringed a bit. Sincere is played by Karen Ward Ross. Dallas is played by Brian White. Connor is played by Darius McCrary. And DeAndrea is played by Miss Ferris, Christy Ferris. Okay, so at the beginning of the episode, and this is 6 minutes in, they are introducing us to all of the couples, and all of them are at a crossroad. You can tell that right off. There's no communication. They resent each other. There's misunderstanding. There's confusion, and each couple is having either a silent or a spoken argument. Either they're talking or they're not talking at all. The first couple they talk about is Sawyer and Caroline. Caroline is played by Vanessa Simmons. I have to say it like that, y'all, because her face is dead to me sometimes. And her husband is played by Blue Kimball. Hands down. That man is fine. So let me get that out the way. The man is fine. So when you watch it, you're going to say, oh my gosh, that man fine. Yes, he that fine. Okay, so both of them are fighters. He is a boxer. She is a jiu-jitsu instructor. Who the hell does that? And they own a gym. Communication is horrible. They start off, you see them arguing, and everything that he says he thinks is trash. She said, you're calling me trash. Typical women stuff. We hear what we want to hear. She's hearing what she wants to hear. So physically, they're perfect. And everybody had a good physique on the show, but Blue and Vanessa, or should I say Sawyer and Caroline, had the best bodies. And I got to give it to Vanessa. She did that. They looked really, really good, really, really athletic, really, really toned, and they looked really, really, really into what they were doing. But like I said, physically, the perfect couple. The arguments were very petty. Most of Sawyer stormed out. He stormed out at the end and was like, You don't have to go out, leave. It was kind of stupid how he left, but we let that go. And so he stormed out completely and he was done with it. So, yeah, they're a candidate up for the experiment. At the experiment, and actually, Caroline saw a flyer at her gym, the gym that they own together. So that's how they found out about the experiment. They're blasting it, but the way the marketing is, they're acting like they're marketing to everyone. It just seems like they were specifically picking these couples to market it to. So, all right. So couple number 2, that is Maggie and Carson. And Maggie is played by Jill Marie Jones from Girlfriends. Tony Childs. And Jonathan Wesley, or Wesley Jonathan, I can't remember. That's her husband. He is so handsome. And I'm going to tell you what's handsome about him. He's gray. It makes him look distinguished and older. And he does look older in the face, but it's still an attractive old man thing. Old man swag going there. Maggie has completely checked out. She could care less about the marriage. He is talking to her about invoices, and she's online looking at bigger houses. She has completely checked out. Something happened with them, and it just totally threw their marriage to the wolves because they have absolutely zero communication. Carson, you can tell he's fed up with her. He wants her to kind of take the relationship more serious, take the business more serious. They two own a business. And she's just not. She's just out of it. She's just doing her own thing. I'm doing me, and that's that on that. And she's very cold, very guarded. She wears her hair wrapped up. She wears kind of baggy clothes. It's not like I want to say that maybe the only thing she's applying is lipstick and eyeliner. She just doesn't care. And she's just in this shell. And he's trying to get her out. Carson makes the statement, are some of our best days behind us? And Maggie couldn't even answer it. She is checked out business-wise and family-wise because there was something that needed to be done for the business, and she didn't do it. And he had to give that job to someone who was under her and said, consider it a promotion, because she wasn't even there to do the editing. I'm not sure what kind of company they have, but whatever kind of company they have, it requires invoices to be paid by a certain time and editing to be done. I couldn't tell if they were running a magazine or, because later on in the show, you'll understand why I can't tell what they do for a business. But she doesn't care. She wasn't even there to do the editing, nor did she tell him that she was leaving, nor did she say where she was going. So Maggie just like, I'm over you, I'm over this, screw it, I'm gonna do me. So I was like, okay, all right, Tony Childs. I know that ain't your character no more, but you gonna always be Tony Childs to me. Okay, so couple number 3, that was Connor and DeAndrea. They started off having the calmest disagreement on the show. DeAndrea is real refined. I don't know where they got her from, but that woman looks like a rich white woman. Seriously, straight up, no tea, no shade. She sits like I'm sitting on $500 draws right now. Seriously, because she was like, just, what do you want to do? What are we going to do? So what do you have to say? So what do you want to do? And I'm just like, okay, I don't know how I would react with a woman. What do you like to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do? You know, I've been kicked it back at her. So that threw me off. She was just real calm and posh. And so I'm like, I assume this is the way Victoria Beckham has conversations with her friends, you know. Timmy got hit by a car. He was okay, though. Really. I remember when I used to be able to drive cars. What was that, years ago? I forgot how to drive. I'm driving now. You know, that type vibe. So, she is with Connor. Typical thug and good girl story. She got with him. She didn't know he was in the streets. She found out he was in the streets. She told him to change his life. He was like, okay, I will. And so he is trying to become successful and provide for his very well-off wife. Because Connor is in a situation where your wife has the money. You don't. So you really don't have to work that hard. But he is from the streets. Like drug dealer streets, 2020 streets. So he's used to fast money and a lot of it, and being able to dispose of it and being able to treat the women. But in this case, he's the one being treated. Now, DeAndrea was left money. Her family had money, so this is why she's so rich, and she got heavy money. Because she's able to go to charities and give them $2 million and then ask them what happened to the money. Who did I help? She gave the charity $2 million and she said, okay, what's the percentage that I helped? They was like 0.5, and she was like 0.5, and they were like, yeah, they have a lot of cases, and how far did you think that would go? And so she is really trying to be a philanthropist. I don't think I'm saying it right, but that's what she's trying to do, and she's giving her money out and hoping that she is making a difference with it. She doesn't want to just sign a check. She wants to be making it rich people stuff. See, only rich people have time to make money and then sit up there and say, well, how is it being doled out? I mean, I gave it. The fact that you can give someone $2 million, I mean, how many children did you think you were going to save? They're taking your money and slicing the pie and putting salaries and stuff together. Then what's left over they give to the kids. So she realized she needs to do better research with what she's giving her money to. But what kind of money you got? You got $2 million just to give out. I digress. I'm sorry. Okay, so she has become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. I'm talking about she has a maid, she has a chef, and she wants to believe in her husband, but Connor is an ex-street drug dealer who's trying to become a stockbroker. He doesn't like his position in the company. He doesn't feel successful. He thought he'd be making more money by now. He thought he'd be further along in the company by now. He is treating Wall Street like a dope game. I've stacked my money, and now I'm ready to enjoy the fruits of my labor. But you have to dedicate so much time in the stockbroker game to get there. He's learning. He's having a problem adjusting to being a businessman. He also having a problem staying out of the streets. He's losing confidence due to his wife paying all of the bills, footing everything, and he's still trying to find his career. And she's just sitting over there throwing $2 million away. So that's the whole thing. Where their issue is Connor feels like he should be doing more, and she feels like, yeah, you should, because she rich. Rich people, it's real easy for rich people to look at you and say, yeah, do better. My mom went to Yale, why didn't yours? And seriously, but you find out more about hers. Everyone is an artichoke in here. You peel and peel and peel, and you see that they actually have a heart. So that's Connor and DeAndrea, but they've only been married a year now. So I'm thinking maybe this could have been worked out. You haven't been married long enough to just have as many issues that you're leading on to have. But I digress. They're at the experiment. Okay, so Dallas and Sincere, one more, and then I'll tell you about the experiment, and then we'll cut this out. Dallas and Sincere are the couple that don't communicate at all. She's a paramedic, I think, because I saw her come in like paramedic gear, so I want to say she's a paramedic. He is a crime scene detective, and they don't talk. They literally sat down, ate, didn't say 3 words to each other. 3 words. And then she got up and left. And she was eating her salad. You know how you eat your salad in a way to let the man know that you got an attitude, how you slide the lettuce off with your teeth. She was eating it like that, and nothing. He didn't care, because he probably had a case in his head. And then Brian White had probably been in so many movies. Hell, he probably didn't know what movie he was at. So, as I said, Dallas is a crime detective who is worn out, and it's caused him to be burnt out on the job, and he's getting to scenes and he can't compose himself, and he has to leave before the full investigation is done. And you see this call between him and his captain telling him he's not allowed on another crime scene for 2 weeks because you can't mentally handle it, you need a break, you need a vacation, or blah blah blah. So I think Sincere's problem is that she feels like she's a burden on her husband. She has a bit of a past. I learned about that in the other episodes. She has a bit of a past, so she just feels so grateful to her husband for accepting her past and helping her out of that place. But I didn't want to dive into this, but I have to because it's on my mind. Sometimes we let people save us, and then they're our crutch. And when we don't need them no more, they feel useless. They don't know where to go or what to do. And I think this is where Dallas is. He doesn't know, well, does she need me anymore? She's saved now. You know how when you save a hoe, she's saved. So she doesn't need me anymore. What am I going to do? If she doesn't need me, who am I going to save? Who am I going to rescue? So that's pretty much their problem. Sincere has come a long way from where she's been. I watched the rest of the episode, so I know from where she's been. And she really had a hard life. She cannot have children. And that's a big thing for her. She feels like if they could have kids, they wouldn't be having issues. People stop bringing kids into toe-up ass situations. If it's toe-up before the kids, it's going to be even more tore up after the kids. Guarantee, and catch that tea. Know that. Because if it's dysfunctional without kids, I don't know why y'all think kids bring y'all together. Kids do not bring you together. Kids don't even like you when they get here. So how in the ham and eggs are they bringing y'all together? Okay, my point. So he's kind of insecure about what role he'll play in her life and all of that. The experiment. Okay, so like I said, it seemed like the experiment was marketed directly to them. You see someone see it in the air. You see someone hear about it on the radio station. You see flyers posted up. You see the marketing. It seems like that it's directed directly to them. And apparently they're so ready, to turn in the towel in their marriages. Side note, black people who have finances together have other things to fight about, not this crap. And we don't need to do an experiment to solve it. Let's just hash it out, finish it, and be done. Side note, I just want to let y'all know. Okay, so about the experiment. Okay, so the experiment involved them going to a seminar, sitting through a seminar, sitting with different speakers and stuff like that. Each couple is screened, and they have to sign an NDA. Now, I know you're like, well, yeah, duh, you coming up in here and doing this. They had to use their assets as collateral for the NDA. And I mean houses, businesses, all of that, just to make sure they hold their end of the bargain. Like they so serious about y'all not snitching on them. And so each couple puts up the assets. If you had children, you could not participate because you are required to go away for 2 months. So once all the agreements were done, everyone signed, sealed, deliver, I'm yours. You receive a cell phone. You are not to be in contact with any family, any friends, or anything like that. And you had to be super secretive about where you were going, what you were doing, but they did tell you you will be gone for this amount of time. So once the couples were filled in, a car was sent to the house, and they told them you will be picked up at this time. And that's how the first episode ended. You see everyone getting ready to go to their new destination. So just with that opening episode, that caught my attention and I wanted to see more. And if you watch this, you'll want to see more too. The reason I recommended this for married people. Oh, I have a side note. Whoever did this, please, please, please make sure you budget out the hair next time. The wigs in here were pretty bad and they were distracting. I mean, you had natural hair stuffed on top of silky hair, and then you had just wigs that were just obvious wigs, and it was distracting. No shade. I mean, if you didn't have a wig budget, hey, I understand, but go get some of this. But if you didn't have a wig budget, that's fine, but damn. That's all I got to say. And I'm just warning y'all, because when y'all watch it, my petty people and my paying attention to detail people gonna be like, damn, when you see the wigs. So I just thought I'd give you a heads up. Damn. Okay, so I think married people should watch this because it opens up a conversation of honesty. It opens up a conversation of, would you do that? Because what they're doing is they're going and they're going to spend 2 months with a new spouse within the circle. And you are spending 2 months alone with no communication with anyone else with this new person, your new husband. And it's how they splitting them up and putting them together. And it's like they're setting them up for situations where it could be bad. But then again, everything is a learning experience. I mean, literally, everything in this show was a learning experience. And it really, really, really taught you to appreciate your mate. Appreciate them if they love you without judgment, without faults or anything like that. Because that's real. It's out there. It's people who are living and not speaking. They're living in the same house and don't even speak to each other. That is real. So I just wanted married couples to watch this and try to engage in some conversation. Try to make sure your fire is still there. Do y'all still feel the same about things? Do y'all still have the same passion, same dreams? A lot of times people's passions change. This happened in this episode. And they don't know how to come to their mate and say, hey, well, I don't want to be a writer anymore. I don't want to work at Kroger's anymore. I don't want to work at Walmart anymore. You know what I'm saying? I want to pursue this dream. And sometimes you have to let that person go and pursue their dream. Now, you're not going to cut off our check and put us in the streets just so you can play the guitar outside of Waikiki. No. But definitely, if you have a dream and you're passionate about it, then yeah. But people are not even comfortable enough to come to their mate and say that. So that's what I took away from this episode and this series, that you have to communicate with your spouse and you have to be on the same page. If you're not on the same page, it's not going to be pretty and there's nothing that's going to get done. So that is my recap for episode 1. That's just episode 1. I know it was long, but it was a introduction to the characters and everything like that. And I wanted y'all to know, if you haven't seen it or if you wanted to see it, I kind of wanted to give you a detailed review. This is very detailed. None of my videos will be this long again, but it was just a detailed review. That way you can kind of fill out the characters and understand where each one came from or how they came about. And if you watch the series, you'll know. So the next episodes, I'll probably be doing 2 and 3 together because they're about 30 minutes a piece. So the reviews really shouldn't be that long on them. But nonetheless, it's so much. If you're married, you just relate to so many things and so much. So thank you guys for watching. Again, that's Monogamy. Came out this year. I was able to access it through Amazon Prime. And yeah, check it out. So I'll be back probably tomorrow with another video and let you know how episode 2 and 3 fare. Share, can you love? Peace.